Hello, welcome back for the third tutorial. I know these tutorials are simple, but I like to try to keep it simple and break them down into bits and pieces. So let's work on the third tutorial today. And what we're going to do is create a job, and we're going to say CSV file to JSON file. Here we're going to say non-array. Okay. So you see here on the right hand side, once we put that tFile input, it just kind of stays there every time we open up a new job. So we want to just click on tFile input and click it here. And notice that the file delimited comes up. I'll show you another feature here inside of the component tab. You have these other smaller tabs that you can look at, and it provides different features for the file delimited. So for example, you can trim all the columns. We can change this to encoding UT8. We can check date. We can check columns to trim. That's to get those spaces, or to get spaces eliminated. Dynamic settings, we're not going to do much with that, but we can also do view. View is pretty interesting because what I can do with view is I can change the name of the file that we're looking at. And you can see up here, instead of having that generic tFile input delimiter, we give it a name that's a little bit more personable. Again, we have a warning up here, and we can go here, select that file, and this is the CSV file that we're going to use. We can also now type in JSON. Our output is a JSON file. We can map that to the JSON file. Okay, and you notice here it's saying, guess what? We don't have a schema defined yet. Previously, what we did in defining the schema is we built the schema. We clicked on here and we added the schema here. But we have a neat trick that we can do. Let's go ahead and do one because we want to definitely get the headers. And that neat trick is we can go back to the file that we had already defined, which was this file delimited. Open up the schema, and you see it says export all rows into an XML file. Okay, we can click on that, and we're gonna say person data XML. Schema. It's being saved as an XML. .xml. Save it. Open up in our folder. We see that we have an XML file here. Actually, let's do one better. Let's open it up so you can actually see it. It's an XML file on a single row. Let's close it. We go back to the file that we were using. We go to edit schema, and then what we can do is replace it or import it if you prefer. And now we have an imported schema. We don't have to continue to type them out, type them out, type them out. We can just copy and paste. Well, actually copy it into an XML file and then paste it. And it says, would you like to propagate the changes? Yes, we want to propagate the changes. Okay. So now you notice we also have a sub job. We need to create a title. Convert CSV to JSON without arrays. Okay. Let's go to the JSON file. Over here, where are we going to output that data? We're going to output that data here. and I'm just going to call it CSV data as JSON. Dot JSON. Yep. Okay. Let's take that out. Data as JSON. Save it. I'm just going to give it person data here. Sync columns. And now what we have is our input to our output. We can do the same here in the view. We're going to just call it JSON output. Okay. If we want to highlight it, we can use the HTML, just highlight it back. Okay. We're not going to do much else with this. The next step we could do is generate it as an array JSON. That's how come we define it as file non-array. Okay. We don't need to do anything on the advanced setting. We've already utilized the view. Okay. And now all we have to do is just run the job. The job is complete. We can open it up, and here is our JSON. This is our JSON file. We know it's our JSON. We can do a JSON formatter. Okay. Copy all the data. Paste it. And as you can see, sorry about all these ads, we have our JSON file. Okay, this is a useful site, JSONformatter.org. Pretty straightforward, pretty fast. And again, as we did before, we can use a message box if we want to add a message box. Remember, we're going to use a trigger on the sub job if the sub job is okay. And down here we can say JSON job complete. Okay. We can put a note. I like notes. Tutorial 3. CSV to JSON. Let's fix that spelling. Hold on. That's not cool. Tutorial 3. All right. So in this tutorial, we covered quite a bit. It didn't seem like it, but we actually did. We covered the output for JSON, return the file from a CSV to a JSON file here. We also gave it more descriptive names, the components, more descriptive names. Yes, we gave it more descriptive names here. We added our message box, and we actually verified that the JSON was valid JSON data by posting it into JSONformatter.org. And we saw where that data was outputted. We saw it was outputted to the file that we had defined. All right. That will conclude tutorial 3.